All right, here is the Gracious Hope Bible Fellowship. We have an outlet, media outlet, which is the Gracious Hope Podcast, and we are here today. So delighted to talk about country Liberia, and today our focus is going to be on the proposed bill by three senators of the Liberian legislature, in the persons of Senator Edwin Melvin Snow, Senator Amara Conant, and Senator Joseph K. Jala. These senators proposed a new bill, and that bill is about legislating religious belief. They want holidays to be recognized in the law of the land. They want to make a law to have Christian holiday or Islamic holidays. And so we know in our country's history, we have no law on the books or even the Constitution acknowledging or recognizing a particular religion or religious holiday. However, based on our country's deep root in the Christian faith, we have Christmas, Easter, Sunday service. The Muslims also have their special holidays, like, for example, their month-long fast. They do celebrate, and they also have their Friday prayer to the mosque, and there has been no hindrance at all. And so we want to know the motivations that are behind this whole push for a law to be established in our country just for the observance of holidays for both the predominant religions, that is Christianity and the Islamic faith. And so then we are left with a question, but if the Constitution, Article 14, puts a government in a position to be neutral when it comes to religious matters, not to favor one religion over the other, then how come this new law is being proposed? And let us look at the pros and the cons and see how it's going to impact the religious communities in our country, both in Liberia and also in the United States and abroad, other places. Let's see how people are responding. And today we have a panel of pastors and reverends that will talk about this issue today. But before we bring on our guest, Reverend Dede, Suarez Dede, he is a pastor also, and he is the co-host of this program. And Reverend Dede, we have a whole lot to talk about today, looking at the Liberian Constitution, what it says regarding religion, and also we'll be looking at the preamble and also some other specifics regarding the law of the land in relation to the new proposed bill by Edwin Snow, Senator Edwin Snow, Senator Jala, and Senator Amara Kane. How are you today?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing? How are you doing from your end?
Well, so far, so good.
Well, I hope you're doing good, good, good. Well, we bless God again. Of course, this is the day that the Lord God has made. We always rejoice no matter what and be glad in it. We love to have this type of discussion to enlighten our minds and help us to decipher and dissect what is unfolding in modern Liberia, our land of nativity. So we are glad that we could come, and I'm glad we have some of our clergy friends coming in to help us discuss this thing. And I know you and I know that this will be just the beginning of this discussion, because we intend to have our other friends from the Muslim side, if we can get them to come in and continue this discussion, so that we have the whole 9 years covered with this discussion. You know, Liberia is a unique country. The Liberian Constitution guarantees freedom of religion and prohibits the establishment of a state religion, as you said in your introduction. So while there are no legal mandate to recognize Islamic or Christian holidays, the government observe some religious holidays as national holidays, including Christmas and fast and prayer, and of course Easter. And I believe, based on this backdrop, our Muslim brothers and sisters think we should have laws enshrined in the Constitution to make sure we have Christian and Muslim holidays mentioned in the Constitution. It's not there. The government observes that, the people observe that from generation to generation now. But these three senators think there should be law to have these national holidays included in the Constitution. But the very Article 14 that they are quoting also says there should be no state religion. So the question is, if that law happened to pass, would it be something that will make other religion groups in Liberia to want to also have laws enshrined for them in the Constitution? So that's why we are trying to discuss this today. I'm glad that you are here, and I look forward to the discussion, brother.
Exactly. Okay. And if you're just joining us, this is the Gracious Hope Live Podcast. We are here every Saturday at 6 p.m. And this platform is geared toward promoting and preserving the Liberian Christian heritage. We talk about faith and culture. And today, this topic is debatable in many ways because we are trying to make sure that there will be no political tension or religious tension regarding this. And so, without much ado, we have our special guest here. We have Reverend Everett George. He's from Virginia. We also have Reverend Tully H.T. Kura from Massachusetts. Welcome, Reverend. And we also have here Pastor Asumana Kamara as our guest, including Reverend James Dicker. So we have a whole house full today, and we will be dissecting all of this whole thing about new law trying to establish religious holidays. We'd like to say welcome to all of our guests. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, brothers.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Alex, just to add so that people won't think we're trying to be biased, we try to get some female pastors to come, and we still pursuing that. So we want to make sure we say that on the air, so they won't think you are gender blind to the extent that we only invited our male pastors friends and not the female. Just to make that clear.
Okay, so this is the discussion here, but let me set the page for that first. Let me set it up here. So we have a constitution here, and from the get-go, the preamble, which of course is the introduction of the entire law of the land, it says right on the screen, "We the people of the Republic of Liberia, acknowledging our devout gratitude to God for our existence as a free, sovereign, and independent state, and relying on his divine guidance for our survival as a nation, realizing from many experiences during the course of our national existence, which culminated in the Revolution of April 12, 1980, when our Constitution of July 26, 1847 was suspended, that all of our people, irrespective of history, tradition, creed, or ethnic background, are of one common body politic, exercising our natural, inherent, and inalienable rights to establish a framework of government for the purpose of promoting unity, liberty, peace, stability, equality, justice, and human rights under the rule of law, with opportunities for political, social, moral, spiritual, and cultural advancement of our society for ourselves and for our posterity, and having resolved to live in harmony, to practice fraternal love, tolerance, and understanding as a people, and being fully mindful of our obligation to promote African unity and international peace and cooperation, do hereby suddenly make, establish, proclaim, and publish this Constitution for the governance of the Republic of Liberia." Now, here comes Article 14 in the Constitution. All persons shall be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, and no person shall be hindered in the enjoyment thereof, except as may be required by law to protect public safety, order, health, or morals, or the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. All persons who, in the practice of their religion, conduct themselves peaceably, not obstructing others, and conforming to the standards set out herein, shall be entitled to the protection of the law. Now, no religion, denomination, or sect shall have any exclusive privilege or preference over any other, but all shall be treated alike, and no religious test shall be required for any civil or military office or for the exercise of any civil right. Consistent with the principle of separation of religion and state, the republic shall establish no state religion. So, my brothers, here is the Article 14 from the preamble. We see God, religious language, all in there, and all the godly principles there that set the trajectory of a republic, a sovereign country, Liberia. Here now, we have been having a country, been observing all of the festivities for special days we call religious holidays like Christmas, Easter, as well as going to worship on Sunday. The Muslim people do the same thing. No hindrance, no fuss, nothing, no tension. But here, a new bill, proposed bill, to now legislate religious beliefs. Let's start with Dr.
Alex, before our colleagues come in, let's revisit that bill so that we see what is there. So as our colleagues speak, they will know exactly. I'm sure some of them already know. It is important to know that in the face of all of what you said, Councillor and let's say Senator David K. Jala of Lofa County, with co-sponsor Senator Edwin Snow and of Bomi County, and Amara M. Connor of Bopodo County, is offering this legislation to establish Muslim and Christian holidays in the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Now, you already mentioned the provision in Article 14 which is good that you mentioned, but the proposed legislation is that the Christian holidays and Muslim holidays should be included in the Constitution for inclusivity, to include others in it, and for balance. So that's the context in which they are proposing this, for inclusivity and for balance between the two religions, not for conflict, not for anything but for that. So I want to give this backdrop as we discuss. Let's go ahead.
For balance. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with Reverend Dr. Everett George. What do you think?
Well, thank you for inviting me, Dr. Red and Pastor Dada. Well, there are multiple questions that come to mind. The country has been in existence for over 170 plus years. There has never, ever been any religious uprising amongst all of the religions that are in the country. So what is the motives of these senators? What are the motives? Why push an issue that is not an issue? The Constitution, as you just read, guaranteed freedom of religion and clearly states that the state should not favor one particular religion. So I don't know where these senators are coming from to be proposing or sponsoring a legislation that will be in contradiction to the Constitution. I don't agree with it. I think it's unconstitutional because there has been no religious uprising amongst all of the religion that do exist in the Republic of Liberia. So I am not sure what the motive behind it. No one religion is favored over the other. Everyone operate within their own domain and abide by the Constitution. So I'm not sure what's the motive behind it.
Okay. And Reverend Augustine, Kawa? Sorry, I was stuck. I meant to say Reverend Dacre, James Dacre.
Okay. I want to say good evening to everybody. Thank you for the opportunity of inviting me here. You, Reverend Dada and Reverend Red, and various other panels, Minister of the Gospel. I want to just to Reverend George's point. The Constitution is clear about religious inclusivity. It's clear about religious tolerance. It's clear about freedom of worship, freedom of religion, creed, whatever it is. But it does not provide the window for there to be a legislated religious holiday, because doing so will create a situation in which you will have to now deal with various religions. And I want you to know that Liberia is not just Muslim and Christians, because Liberia is going to be so diverse. It's going to be a diverse community. And you get a lot of people coming in from different backgrounds. Even some Liberians have become part of other religions of the world, and they still live in Liberia, and they participate in their rituals and in their weekly worship. But everything is done at the point where it does not have to be institutionalized by the state. So creating holidays, as a matter of fact, there's no religious holiday. There's no religious holiday publicly or declared or legislated. So if you have a religious holiday by your religion, according to civil rights the rules, it is your prerogative to take off that time from work or anything and celebrate with your holiday will all be interfere or no intervention. But for it to be at the level where the state legislate it, that would be unprecedented. Even in America, it's not legislated. It's just a civil rights issue where if you work at a particular or certain job and it's a religious holiday for your religion, you have the time to take off. Your employer, their honor obligation to have give you the time to take off to celebrate your holiday according to your religious rights, but it's not legislated. So these senators that are creating this type of situation, I want to just believe that these are some of the way you can create chaos. There's a way to create chaos. It shouldn't be chaotic at all. Everybody should have the freedom to worship, to have the freedom of celebrating their religious holiday according to what is enshrined in a religious doctrine. But it should be out of the state influence. It shouldn't be a state religion, but there's no state religion. So what I'm saying to you here is that it is okay to have a religious holiday, but it should not be legislated in the Constitution or whatever to be a holiday set aside for religion. For example, if you look at Christianity, that is the biggest religion of the world, because Christianity is at 31%, and next to Christianity is going to be Islam, 24%. Then move forward down to Hinduism, Jainism, Sikhism, Zoroaster, Confucius, going all the way down, Buddha, all the kind of stuff. So everywhere around the world, where there is state religion, where religion is considered a state religion, they still declare religious holiday. For example, if you were to go to maybe Saudi Arabia or Indonesia, let's just say Indonesia or Pakistan, that's going to happen. That is possible to happen there because they have state religion, but there's no state religion in Liberia. And so legislating a holiday, I think, is
Pastor, take off.
Okay. Pastor Asumana Kamara, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Just close
it. Your microphone is off, Pastor Asumana Kamara. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, sorry. I think the thing went off a little bit, so that's why. I want to say thank you for having me here today and inviting me to this important discussion. First, everybody have already said really what the Constitution says, that everybody have rights to, and if it's a freedom of religion, you can worship whatever you want to worship once it's not against or interfering with other person's right. So you can do your worship, or it's not against law of the country. So you can worship. Like if you worship another God, you can't sacrifice him or being. Government will not allow that. So, but you can still worship any other God that you want to worship. One is not something that will go against the law. When it comes to holidays, I got really kind of different mind. First, when they talk about religious holiday, I feel that this is competition. It's becoming a competition. Where because Christian worshiping on Sunday and government offices are closed on Sunday, so Muslims also want government offices to be closed. That's basically how I see it. So what is the moral behind holidays? Why should we have holiday? How Sunday became a Christian worship day? How Sunday became a holiday? In fact, it's not just Sunday; it's also have Saturday. So you have Saturday and Sunday. So if you begin to give rights to religious holidays, I don't know how many holidays we're going to be having in Liberia. There'll be a time there'll be no office open because everything will be a holiday. Because SDA, just within the Christian community, got SDA worship on Saturday. So they have to also close everything on Saturday because that's why it is. So all these things is just, I think it's just problematic. Nobody on earth will go to heaven by skipping a holiday. God is not even interested in holidays. So what is the moral? What is the brain behind this? Why are we talking about having religious holiday to keep other people's offices closed or days and all of that? Can that really build up our faith? Would that make us more Christian or more Muslims? I was sharing this with Pastor Day. I said on Sundays in Liberia or in America or wherever Christian people goes to church, what people do on Sunday? It just become a free day for a lot of people go on the beach. The few who wants to go to church, they go to church. So it's not really to say it's because of Christian worship that Sunday is there. It's just for people to get rest away from job, spend time with their families, and all of that. And I think those days are opportunity for us to get more, exercise our faith, to become more Christian or more Muslims. I live in Kuwait, and in Kuwait, the weekends are Thursdays and Fridays. And so what the Christians do in Kuwait, they go to church on Friday. Will God say, well, no, because you didn't worship on Sunday, so we're not going to take it? Because that's the opportunity they have. So they make use of it to get closer to God. I think that's how we should be looking at, when it comes to spiritual thing. Like everybody's saying, you can't legalize or make it law, especially where you have multiple of religions. In fact, Christianity and Muslim are less. Those who are not Christian or Muslim, they are in majority in Liberia. So you can't force everybody to live by what you live. I like what Dick just said. In America, everybody is entitled to their religious right at job. So if you have holiday for your religion, you can ask your employer, I'm out this day because of religious duty. They can't stop you from doing that. But I don't think it's really necessary to have, quote unquote law, legalize that these days are in the law. So everybody must keep it. If I'm not a Muslim, I go Muslim holiday. What am I going to do? Sleep. then everybody gonna have holiday. That's the way I'm thinking. Maybe I would think about more things to say, but that's my own take. I believe that we should be more spiritually thinking. When it comes to faith, I always tell people faith is passionate. It's your own passionate relationship with God. Holiday cannot help you. It's your passionate relationship with God. So even if you give all the country, all the days in Liberia as a holiday, it's not going to help any religion. It's not going to help any Muslim. It's not going to help any Christian. In fact, it's just going to divide us more. So all I see about this law is just competition. That, oh yeah, because Christians are doing the weekends on Saturday and Sunday. It's worldwide. This is not even that start from Liberia. It's a worldwide thing. This started way during the Roman Empire. So it's just going, and that was really to give rest to people. And people took advantage of that day to be, come closer to their God. And I think that's what I think we should be thinking about instead of thinking about legalizing.
So you think it's all bringing about competition is going to bring about competition, which is not right. Reverend Kura, what is your take?
I'm not calling pretty soon. You're going to hear SDA say they want holiday.
Yeah.
And then Buddhists that say, somebody said they even got Buddhists in Liberia. They're going to be looking for holiday. So we're going to have so many holidays.
What's your take, Reverend Kura?
Thank you very much. And I want to thank Pastor Kamara for passing the link for me to be on. I want to start with Article 1 of the Constitution of Liberia. All power is inherent in the people, and all free government are established for their benefit. The lawmakers in Liberia need to think about the benefit to the people. And religious holidays is not one of them because it's a secular state. What I think about this particular thing, it goes down to the violation of the rights of the citizens of Liberia that can carry on today by the current legislature is the reason why we are having this discussion. According to Article 1, it says that if the people's safety and happiness is not being protected by the government, the people have the right to change or reform the government using elections. But what we have today, Liberia, one of the oldest countries in the world and the oldest in Africa, is among the top 10 poorest countries on earth. Top 10 poorest countries on earth. There's a reason for that. Why we are the poorest country, even though our country is rich with natural resources, there's a reason why we are the poorest country. And lawmakers should be thinking about mitigating the harm of poverty, but they are not. And the reason they are not can be found also in the same Article 1, talking about how the citizens can change it through electoral process, according to Article 1. The system in Liberia is rigged. We do not have free and fair elections because the electoral laws in Liberia, they charge money up to $2,500 for candidate registration fee. In the European Union, in the United States, people don't pay money to register. All you need is register voter listing. We have that in Liberia. You got to have registered voters to petition you. But on top of that, they also have up to $2,500 United States dollars to run for office. On top of that, they also have 10,000 United States dollars minimum bank balance. Most of the cities in Liberia don't even have banks. Most of the towns don't have banks. And so 10,000 US dollar, every candidate needs to have that. Finally, you also have to have $100,000 insurance bond and up to $1,800 for processing the list of candidates that you put in. It's so burdensome. All the people who become senators in Liberia today are senators because of this system that is not free and is not fair. And that's what they should be thinking about. The last thing I want to talk about, in addition to the fact that the system is not free and fair, is financially burdensome, and it's not a democracy because you don't have that in Europe, you don't have that in America. It's the question of education. A lot of the countries in Europe, almost all of the allies of the United States in Europe offer free college education to all their citizens so that they can be able to attain their God-given potential. They also offer free health care. That's what these people need to be thinking about. But they are not thinking about that because we have a system where even people in Liberia is among the top visa refusal countries in the world, 79.38% visa refusal. So if 200 people go to the embassy, they take their money and they don't refund their money, and the embassy takes their money and denies them visa. Compared to 79.38% visa refusal for Liberia with Afghanistan under the Taliban, 48% visa refusal. So Talibans are more welcome to the United States than Liberians. Not only the Taliban, Iran, 53% visa refusal. Russia, 39% visa refusal. Nigeria, 29% visa refusal. Now, if the country that was founded by citizens of the United States cannot welcome the United States in there, then you have to look in the legislature of Liberia. Most of the top officials of government of Liberia today are citizens of the United States with 2 passports. That's a concern they need to be thinking about. I'm going to stop right there. So in summary, we don't have free and fair election. They should think about that to make it free and fair. We don't have free college education. They should think about that. We don't have free health care. They should think about that. Those are the things. Those are the safety for which government officials should be changed, according to Article 1 of the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. I just got an inquiry, and I want to respond to that so that people who are watching will get a context of what we're discussing today. Somebody text and ask, what is this whole bill about? Maybe they did not get the intro for Ellis and I. What is this whole bit about? So let me just go back again, give the context so that we can have the audience participate. The bill is officially titled An Act to Establish Certain Religious Holidays in the Republic of Liberia. Like to say, it was submitted by Liberian Senator Joseph K. Jala, Lofa County, and then co-sponsored by Senators Edwin Snow and Amara Cornett. Now, what does the bill want to do? It proposes to formally recognize both Christian and Muslim religious observances as national holidays, specifically Christmas and Easter and the Idri Friti and Idri Ade. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So they say for years, according to the 3 senators, for years, Liberia has celebrated Christian holidays such as Christmas and Easter with unofficial closures of schools, government offices, and markets, despite no legal basis. Underscore that. Despite no legal basis for these holidays. Meanwhile, according to the bill, Muslim festivals, the Idri Friti and Idri Ada, have never received official status. You know what I mean? So that's the feelings of exclusion amongst Liberia's sizable population, which is Islam, Muslim. So this is the context here that the senators try to push again for inclusivity and balance. So, Edison, can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm talking about balance. How would it be balanced if I'm a Buddhist or if I'm a Christian and I worship on Saturday like the SD, a 7-day Adventist, or if I believe in the indigenous practices and I want a special day? So is it a can of worms that are trying to open here for religious tension and political tension? Anyone can answer.
I agree.
Senator, I come in Senator Jala responds to that. Apparently, he knew your question was coming. Okay, what I see here, the bill seeks to correct an imbalance that has persisted for too long. Okay, that's what Senator Jala is saying. So
what's the imbalance he's talking about? Because I don't see no imbalance there. If he's traveled around the world, then he should understand that other nations around the world give religious freedom where holidays where different days are observed by those religious or the people in those religions. So I don't see where the imbalance is. In the United States, yeah, the schools are closed during Easter time. They call it spring break. So they can create a name for they don't have to say school closed in Liberia for Easter holiday. They can say it's closed for whatever season we want to call it, rainy season, whatever season. So I don't see where the thing that baffles me is the senators. These three senators are not working in the interest of the people. Because if they were working in the interest of the people, there would be legislating laws that would benefit people and not create misunderstanding and chaos among the Liberian people. So I don't think they are working in the interest of the Liberian people, because they should be, like my brother Pastor Cora said, they should be more particular about creating job opportunities for the young people, creating legislation that will provide job opportunities, free education, free health care. It's not that Liberia is poor, it's the mismanagement of our resources that get us to where we are. And so those should be the primary concern of the legislators in passing laws that will uplift people, that will create opportunities. We live in a developed world. Laws are here to create opportunity for people to be able to maximize their potential and not create chaos amongst people. So I think these senators are not working in the interest of the Liberian people, but trying to work in their own interest. I think from just looking at it, I think they're getting kickback from some ECOWAS country, community of economic community of West African countries, because there are more Muslims in Nigeria. So I think some of these guys are getting kickback to push that amongst push it down the push the legislation down so that it can create problem for everyone. Like other speakers said, if you legislate religious holiday, what benefit would it give to the Liberian people? What benefit is there in legislating religious holiday? What spiritual benefit? What other benefit would it give to them?
Okay, so
Jacob, before you come in, for the sake of balance, Ellis and I are not saying the senators receive anything for anyone to kick back. So we want to be clear on this podcast that that is a wild thought about what the senators are doing, what they do. It may not even be kickback. So we want to make sure from our end we don't side with that thought. That's your thought and that's your position. But we don't think you have to get kicked back before you do what you think your conscience is telling you to do. So Reverend Dick, you can go ahead, sir.
Okay, so for me, I don't look at it most in that light of receiving money, whatever, but I think it's political. It's more political than religious. It's political. It's political in a sense that they're projecting a certain line that will make them keep their position and get filled by the people they want to defend. That's the first thing. Another thing they're supposed to know is that Liberia, like somebody say, a rich country but poor people. There should be no Liberia, a country of 5 million or less, with all the resources. There should be no way that Liberians should be praying, killing themselves for a visa to come to America. People should be praying and dying to get a visa to come to Liberia with 5 million people, with all the resources we have. But we seem to be one of the least countries, for what? Is the same legislature. How can you allow a few group of people to sit over there that make so much money that they pay all the civil servants, and nobody sees that? How can you allow people to sit over there that you're going to buy their vehicle, you're going to pay their rent, you're going to buy their trash car, full car to talk to other people? What sense does that make? So what I'm saying is they don't feel obligated with the type of position they have to work in the interest of the people. Religious tolerance is in Liberia. And going back to the history of Sunday and Saturday, this is a long-term issue. around the whole world, 90%, I mean, 85, 75% of the world, people work from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday is their traditional day off. It's their traditional day off. Okay, that's one part of it. Another part of it is the reason why it seems like Sunday is a holiday and so forth is because the majority of the people are Christians. So when once majority of the people are Christian and they have to leave, there will be a vacuum. But I go back and forth to Liberia. We got store opening on Sunday. They are store opening on Sunday. They are shop opening on Sunday. They get market on Sunday. For those who don't go to church, they go to the market. For those that don't go to church, they open their store. People go and buy. So there's no reason to say there's going to be a specific holiday. That, okay, so let somebody say, Reverend Kamara said, as Mother said, if you're going to do this, then you're going to have Friday for Muslim praying day. You're going to have Saturday for the SDA. You're going to have Sunday. So if we add all of those things plus the holiday they already have in the country, it's going to dent the economy. It's going to dent the economy. So you got to look at it from a political standpoint, from a religious standpoint, from economic standpoint. This is a country you create all the holidays for what? Even you get holiday for a president being dead a long time ago. They're not making any impact. Why can't we just say President's Day? Whether you are born that day, whether you are president, we celebrate that day is inclusive. Because of the kind of country Liberia is. Imagine the lady who just came to Liberia from Barbados. Barbados GDP is $6.5 or $6.7 billion. Barbados. And guess how many? The population is less than 300,000. Look at the population of Liberia. Look at the budget and the GDP. What I'm trying to say here to you, I come from in Liberia. I come from a small little district what you call Gibi district, behind Kakatan. If you get to Kakatan, which is our capital city, to Gibi district is less than 20 minutes. But because the road is not paved, a dusty road, it will take an hour to get there. Can you imagine the government has not been able to pave a less than 20 miles road? And you got a large population of people living. But you get somebody sitting in the office, they buy your phone card, they buy you for the $5,000 vehicle every 3 years. How old is your vehicle right here? Tell me how old is your vehicle here? All of you on the thing, you know the age of the vehicle, you still driving it. But you're going to buy a vehicle from somebody every 3 years, and they're going to own it. And they're going to get a little check for it, and they're going to own it. So if you become senator for 9 years, how many vehicles are you going to have from government? How much you going to spend on phone calls for that person? How much do you spend on lubricant for that person? How much do you spend on newspaper for that person? How much do you spend on all these things for that one person to just sit there, go to work on Tuesday and Thursdays, the rest of the day do what they want to do, get a long holiday off, and the rest of the people don't have electricity and water. So what I'm saying here is the job of the legislature is to advocate on behalf of the people to improve their lives. So that there'll be no darkness in Monrovia. They can be running water everywhere. JFK can be standing down to the point where nobody got to die because of malaria or because of typhoid or hepatitis or something simple like that. So therefore, I'm saying to you, this is nothing but political. And what is political at the same time is intended to create chaos in the population.
So if people listening to you right now, listening to the others, they might say, okay, if there's no religious tension, that is tension between the Islamic and the Christian religions, then why should there be the creation of law for a holiday or for holidays? And if you say it is political, they may ask a question, is it for the Muslim voters? Is that what they're trying to bring in a corner?
Sympathy votes. It's called sympathy votes. Because I'm going in there and advocate for you, and I come back to you, you got to vote for me. So when I do that, you're creating job for me, and I'm not keeping you over there to just be in a pack. So I'm advocating for you not to uplift your life, not to benefit your children, not to build better schools, not to get drinking water, good drinking water, running water, purified water, not to get electricity, not to get you a good hospital, but to make you keep voting for me just because I want you to worship on a particular day. So it's political because you're worshiping anyway. When the Muslim holiday comes in, let they eat, as a matter of fact, on Friday, all the shop closed down for a couple of hours. Everybody go to the mosque and have the service and come right back. And we in peace. On Sunday, the other people go to their church and they come back the next day. While they at the church, the shop across the street is open. They leave the church to go to the shop and buy the market or buy the food. They go home and we are in peace. So it's going to create this kind of situation. Do not say Muslim and Christian. Go and study the diversity of religion in Liberia. Because I know there are Baha'i in Liberia. I know that there is CKC in Liberia. I know there's
Krishna too. Krishna is there too. Krishna.
Our Krishna is there. We have, even the Muslims too are different. The Ahmadiyya, the Shia, they're all different too. And no, we have a lot of this. We got different groups in there. 7-Day Adventists. They got schools. They got businesses. What do we do with them? So we do not need to institutionalize holiday by the state for any religion. Leave it open. You go to church, you go to your mosque, you go to your shrine, you go to your synagogue. That's up to you.
So, Pastor Kamara, Asumana Kamara, you said this is all about competition, of course, because I hear a writer here, Augustine Kawai, is saying, because during Islamic special days of celebration, for example, the Ramadan and the Abraham days, the whole country, Liberia, cannot observe it entirely like we normally see during Christmas and Easter week. I'm highly in support of this proposal to have special holiday for Islamic people. So that is a competition right there. I mean, how will you force everybody to celebrate your birth, your festivity or your special days? And so that's how it is right there.
So let me just say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just say something. If you say that, is that what God going to honor your prayer? Because the whole country celebrate, they were at work, they went home, they do different things. So that makes that make it your religion a better religion. That will make God to accept you. No, holidays are not for religious, political purposes. They are religious. He said religious. It's a faith something between God and myself. Sunday was just something that came up as a rest day. That's why they call it weekends. They never call that, they say Christian holiday weekend, Sunday. It's just a weekend. So other countries have weekends based on their culture, based on their traditions. If you went to China, they even got China year is different. The year is not even the same year that we celebrate. They got their different new year. So all of this is just something that I can't understand.
But one thing, do you know that the government facilitate the pilgrimage?
You know,
that government
sure. Everybody that going government gave some.
Okay, they don't do it for Christian. Because I want to go to Israel, so give me money for pilgrimage. So what we're saying is, you don't create a situation that not turning to be created. Right now,
it's just the faith. I'm a religious person. Everything I'm doing, I wanted to build my faith. And that faith that will lead me to getting closer to God. I want to be closer to God. Holiday will not do that for me. I can do it even when I'm work. So the best thing that we need to do is to bring another legislature or another bill that abolishing every holiday, no rest. We work 7 days a week.
That would defeat the whole purpose.
Well, let me just have this input here quickly. So far, if you don't know already, according to the Daily Observer of May 21st, the Senate Secretary Nimbala Segme formally read the bill in plenary. signaling the start of a process that could culminate into Liberia's first official legislation recognizing Muslim holidays and Christian holidays. I don't know to what extent we'll go. Now, remember, the bill has been welcomed by Muslim leaders. This has been a debate in the past for a long time. The bill, according to the Data Observer too, the bill has been welcomed by Muslim leaders who have long campaigned for formal recognition of their religious festivals, according to the Observer. So this is competition right here that someone is calling for. But then listen to this. This is what the Imam said. I have asked for this for years. The Imam Musa Fofana said, a respected Muslim cleric in Monrovia. Recognition, this is quote, recognition of Idri Fiti and Idri Ad, I hope I'm calling it right, are national holidays. As national holiday will promote peace and unity in our country. That how they feel. So don't you think it's going to promote peace in the country?
Yes, may I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I go back to Article 1 of the Constitution. For what purpose is the government established? For the benefit of the citizens. We have a country right now where in the state of Texas, they have $119 billion budget and lawmakers make $7,200 a year. $7,200 a year, no new car, nothing. And you have a poor country that doesn't even have $1 billion budget, where senators are elected for 9 years and where their salaries and benefits are determined by themselves. And so this is not, everything in Liberia now needs to be turned around, and we, the people, need to bring about democracy, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. What we currently have is not democracy because they pay themselves. If you have a shop and the person working for you decides his own salary, you don't have that shop. And so it's not for, the Article 1 said the government exists for the benefit of the people. Like I said earlier, free college education, free healthcare education, for example, and giving people opportunities for them to be able to do these things, to improve their life. That's the purpose of government. But once you have these people elected in a process that is not democratic, that is not free and not fair, when they get there, they're going to only seek their own interest. And I submit right now that these senators, these honorable senators, what they are trying to do is not to benefit the citizens, because as I pointed out before, the salaries they earn is far more. That's what we should be talking about.
Okay,
Thank you.
Let me ask a question, Reverend.
Okay. Just a
ask
second.
one question. Is the holidays that they're going to be establishing, legalizing, are they going to be paid holidays?
That's a good question. That's a good question for them to hear. But anyway, if you're just joining us,
Is that in the bill?
No, it's not in the bill.
So nobody going to benefit from that physically. It's only spiritually, whether you're Muslim or not, or you're Christian. You're not Christian, you're not Muslim. You got to celebrate it.
And if you're just joining us, this is the Gracious Hope Live Podcast, and today we are talking about what is going on in our country, the new bill that was proposed by 3 senators. Senator Edwin Snow, he proposed this bill before, but it was rejected by the majority of the Christian community and even some of his colleagues in the legislature. And so it didn't go through at all. And he was accused, Edwin Snow was accused that he was bidding for the ECOWAS Muslim majority serving, and he was appointed to ECOWAS to represent Liberia. And there were some people who had a speculation that he was being persuaded by those majority Muslim officials on the ECOWAS team to send the bill to the Liberian legislature so that the Islamic religion can have foothold and do some other things that will undermine the predominant Christian influence. That was just a speculation. That's what people accuse him of, and that bill was was withdrawn. And so this is the second time that Senator Edwin Melvin Snow collaborating now with Senator Amara Conan and Senator Joseph K. Jala. Joseph K. Jala, he represents Lofa County. Senator Amara Conan represents Lofa County. Senator Edwin Snow represents Mangibi County. And Senator Jala is the chairman on banking and investment. And so they are pushing this bill, and it's still in the House, still going on, but we don't know the hearts of the other legislators, whether they buy the idea of having this holiday. So the bill is still there. It's in discussion right now, and it has not been passed yet. But we are hoping that those who can voice their disagreement or agreement, they should do that before this bill passes, and to see how we can reach a resolution, because avoiding religious and political tension, it is something that will be necessary for our country to enjoy the peace. And some of you rightly said that there are a lot of other pressing issues that should pay attention to, like road network infrastructure and a fair electoral system. Okay, so we'll take a little break. We'll be right back. We have one of our guests who just came in, Mr. Augustus, Pastor Augustus Kogoya, and he has a whole lot to say too. But we'll be right back. Don't go away. Please stay and share our link. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back here. Welcome once again. No religious denomination or sect shall have any exclusive privilege or preference over any other, but all shall be treated alike, and no religious test shall be required for any civil or military office or for the exercise of any civil right. Consistent with the principle of separation of religion and state, the Republic shall establish no state religion. Now, Reverend Augustus Kokoya, this is what the Constitution says in Article 14. And now a new bill is being pushed in the House of Representatives from these three senators. They want to establish an Islamic and Christian holidays in a law. They want to make it a law. What is your take?
Yeah, thank you again for your invite. Right there in itself is a violation of the very article of the Constitution. Because growing up in Liberia, pre military coup and after the military coup, everything that was done in Liberia religiously was either traditional or something that was just done, over and over, that it became part of our society. At no point in time did our Constitution suggested that one religion had influence or power over another. And when I was growing up, I went to school with Muslim, I had Muslim friends, especially in Bangor where I grew up at. And so there were no conflict in when it came to Christianity or Islam. We coexisted peacefully. But to go to the extent now to legislate religious holidays, almost turning like, in fact, that's confusion in the first place, because you can't even call it a theocracy, because a theocracy is usually yielded to one dominant religion. So if we go now to say, well, let's legislate Christian holidays and Islamic holidays, it is a mixed signal. So what is Liberia's religious identity? So what can you say Liberia is? Just for the sake of looking at it from a religious perspective. So in itself, I see chaos and confusion from the very beginning, because I think one of the speakers was just and alluding to that. It's better for us to just be the way we are. And I think one of the other speakers alluded to the fact that weekends are weekends, and Sundays Christians go to church. Everybody in Liberia don't go to church. Everybody in Liberia were not mandated to go to church. Same way on Fridays, when I was in school in Liberia, all through my growing up in Liberia, people went to the mosques. Places, I mean, they were allowed to go to the mosques, do what they wanted to do. Nobody interfered with their activities. But when you begin to legislate issue and make it a law, and it's mandatory, then especially when it comes to something like religion, you tread in dangerous waters, because except for Middle Eastern countries, I don't know of a few other, I don't know about many African countries, but let's look at Nigeria, for example, that is predominantly Muslim. You don't see, I mean, yeah, there's tension sometimes between the two religions, but there's no issue when it comes to Nigeria declaring itself as an Islamic country. It's not Nigeria is not declared as an Islamic country like you will see Qatar or Saudi Arabia or Sudan, and not Southern Sudan, but Sudan as it is. So even with Egypt, you don't hear. So most of these states are secular. So Liberia Constitution is a secular constitution. To now begin to put it in a religious perspective, that's chaos. To be honest, it doesn't even call for an argument. It's chaos, unless it's a theocracy like what you have in Iran, where the constitution states categorically that this is an Islamic state and they got all the Sharia law there. Then it's clear. But to go now and have Islamic Christian on the other side, I think those guys got too much time on their hands, and they really don't know what to do, because there's so much problem in that country. Instead of trying to solve the most important and dire issues, they resort into this kind of trivials that really don't make sense. It doesn't benefit Liberia anyway.
But just to add to that, there is no state religion. Once you don't have state religion, it is constitutional that Liberia is not a religious state, and there's no state religion. Therefore, you cannot legislate a religious holiday.
Yeah,
because religion and state they are separated.
And like you rightly saying,
religion is separated. So you cannot, unless you lay a holiday for a separated part of the country that not part of the governing system.
Exactly.
So we
And I
cannot
think
do that because that first of all, they're going to breach the Constitution. They're going to breach the
exactly.
Constitution.
That's my point.
It's
And
going to be a crisis for us, and we
that
do not
crisis,
need that chaos.
that chaos. Look,
They-
and,
they-
and like you regularly said, the Constitution is circular. So by trying to pass the bill, then you should be then what they are effectively doing now is they are removing Article 14 from out of the Constitution. That's what they'll be doing. You know, and to be honest with you, even if I want to look at it from let's say from a non-religious perspective, maybe non-political, and be realistic. Islam is a new religion in Liberia in the first place. It's new compared to where we started from our background and stuff. The first mosques were built in Liberia in the 50s. So you can't even. But this the argument they are bringing because I know they've been wanting to do that for a while. Even when I was at the university, just after I did my undergraduate at the time, I was entering the regional planning postgraduate stuff, and Studa then was being established. They had all the Islamic agenda. On the other hand, young guys were trying to wield national power, so they were trying to link with the Islamic, and there's something that been around for a while. But again, we'll go back to the same thing. If there's a provision in the Constitution that prohibits a state religion, why would you want to impose it? And everybody in Liberia, they're not everybody in Liberia are Christians or Muslims. Some of them may not be having a religion. Then you want to impose on them or subject them to submit to something that they do not have any desire of being a part of.
Well, for the sake of balance, I know some Muslims will disagree with you when you say Islam is a new religion because the first mosque was built in the 50s. It does not mean they were not around. They did not exist before the building of that mosque. But let's go back to what's in the snow.
I agree. I know now. I know.
Yeah. So let's go back to what's in the snow.
Islam was in Liberia long before Christianity.
Okay,
yeah,
so
but,
you see that's
but that's a historical argument. That's a historical argument that we can table for another day because
let's do that one at a time. Let's talk one at a time so that we can hear each other. We're not singing. We're talking. With this.
Okay, sir. No, what I'm trying to say.
One at a time. So you see right here. There's a friendly disagreement about Islam being new or old. So we'll save that for another discussion. Another time so that we can delve into that sufficiently. But I was about to say that Senator Edwin Snow, in one of his comments published by the Data Observer, he emphasized that the legislation is about national unity rather than religious rivalry, because I'm hearing some of the comments in that direction. And this is not a contest between faith, he said. This is not a contest between faith. It is about building a society where all Liberians feel respected and included. I'm quoting reporting from the Data Observer newspaper in Monrovia, Liberia. And the Observer reports also states that public opinions on a bill is divided, which is usual. Some argue that Christian customs have been deeply embedded in the nation's culture from its inception. I mean,
because that's the way the country originated.
Exactly.
The country originated that way.
From
The Constitution was signed in a church. The first school building was in a church. The first government was in a church. And all that kind of thing happened. So it originated from that point.
There will be an influence.
That trend. However,
yes, very Deca. That's what they're saying. They say, and you just buttress that the Christian.
Yeah, but can I say something?
Christian tradition, the Christian state has been predominantly in the political.
Okay, so
I want to go back to that quote that you Senator Snow made, that the bill is intended to unify the people. I would need a specific explanation on the unification he's talking about. Yeah. Because as it is now, both religions or all religions in Liberia are unified. They
Exactly.
respect each other. So I would like to get clarity from him on the unification he's pushing. I really want to get clarification on that because as it is, there has never been any religious uprising amongst any religion in Liberia. All of them have coexisted and have coexisted under the Constitution, recognizing that their religion doesn't interfere with another religion and doesn't harm other people. So I already need clarification from Senator Snow when it comes to the unification aspect of the bill he's pushing.
Yeah,
can I
let me just ask him that, Reverend Dr. Joyce, you just made a serious point, and I'm going through all of the social media thing. I'm still back on the General Observer. The Observer also highlighted a report on one of the talk show, and I said Christmas and Easter are traditions, not just religious holidays, said one community member during the radio program. The person said, quote and unquote, they have been observed for generations without law. All of you said that. So then why laws now at this time?
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
The argument that some Muslims are making that certain holidays are embedded into the culture. And I think Reverend Deka was just saying we got to look at how the nation was founded, how Liberia was Liberia. We don't want to go to independence from 1847. How was Liberia established? So it has gone through our DNA all these years. And besides that, again, to just buttress what Reverend Dr. Josh was just saying, when a bill is when there's an attempt to introduce a bill, it's supposed to be to solve a problem. That means there's something that needs to be fixed, or something that draws attention, be public or governmental or whatever attention that needs to be fixed. But there has never been a problem with religion in Liberia.
Yes.
Churches are not being burned, mosques are not being attacked, Christians and Muslims coexist. In fact, when you see Liberia, you will not even know who is the Muslim, who is the Christian. You know what I mean? So you don't need to try to fix something that is not spoiled. What you're doing now is spoiling it instead of the unity you're talking about.
But as a matter of fact,
no, they can't wait, please. They can't wait. Let him finish.
So the thing you say you're trying to fix now will soon start to spoil, because what is going to happen is people are not thinking about that. So then next thing you see people are thinking about this, and then tension begin to brew, and what you think you're trying to fix or to solve now becomes a problem.
Yeah. Reverend Deka,
Just to butcher what.
No, Reverend Deka, no kind of you, Josh.
I just wanted to a point. I just wanted to talk about there have been more religious tolerance in our day and time than it have been in the past. So over the last years, mostly I've had the opportunity to celebrate their holidays without interfering, without having to make this to interrupt them or to bring everything to a standstill. When a Friday comes on, it understood it's Friday. It's time to close my shop and go to prayer. And everybody knows that. When the Ramadan government will donate to them. Government don't get anything to Christian to say, okay, for example, a statistic I got from yesterday was this year was the most pilgrims are going on Hajj this year. It has been around 200, 100, 200. But this year they get about 600, 620 that are going. But guess what? Government is paying more than half of that bill for them. That is done every year, that will never be done with Christians. So the point here is we have a lot of religious tolerance. There is no need to create a situation that will be chaotic. Because now, when you introduce it and you get a kickback, then it creates the anger. It created anger that was not even there before.
So Reverend Deka, what's the source of that information that government paying for more of the pilgrims going to?
I listened to they had a what was yesterday. I think it was OKFN yesterday. They got a more organized trip this year. they are getting 2 different sets of planes are taking them to Mecca, and they get all the different stipulation, the requirements, and all the even they get down to first aid physician all going with them this time, checking their medical and all that kind of stuff. So the guy was saying and every year government has been giving them money. They go to the government, the jury will give them money, Ellie Jones will give them money. Now just a jury time to give them money too. The reason for that is when they asked the guy yesterday is that each person was 6,000 plus, I mean 6,500 to make a trip. And that includes your hotel, your tour, your meals, your everything is inclusive for 20 days. So that 20 days is equivalent to 6,000, I think 6,200, 6,500. A lot of people want to go, but they don't have that type of money to go. So government usually or supplement what they have. So this is what we're on this year as well.
I just wanted to go back to
I think FN yesterday.
To Senator Melvin Snow again. He's been in Liberia. We are from Liberia. Liberia has an interfaith religious council that coexists with both bishops of the different Protestant churches, heads of Protestant churches, and Sheikh or Imam from the various Muslim group. Those two religious organization and any other religious organization called the Interfaith Council is open to every religious organization in Liberia. They come together with a common goal to pull some of the resources together to work in the interest of all of the Liberian people from the diverse background. So I'm not sure where Senator Snow is saying that this bill is going to produce unity when there has already been unity amongst various religions in Liberia, so that they have come together and form an interfaith council, which is still vibrant in the life of Liberia. So I just want to understand from his perspective where this unity.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. We will soon be concluding this live podcast. But as we do that, right in Liberia, according to the Data Observer, Pastor Emmanuel Toe agrees with the with the proposed resolution. He said here in our quote, Pastor Toe, a Christian minister, believes we must acknowledge all Liberians, adding this bill fosters understanding and strengthens our national unity. So that's what Pastor Toe said. Yeah. So no, I mean he has his right to say what he has to say. Of course. Yeah. So now we want to thank you, gentlemen, for Kamara, you want to say something because we're so
I just wanted to say all the holidays that we're talking about, the Christian holiday like Christmas, Easter, and all this they observe it in around the world. It's not just Liberia. It has never been a law. It's not in constitution. It's not legal. It's just like cultural and tradition that went on. Yeah. But it has not been legislated. So why now?
Okay, thank you for your observation. We want to really thank you. I think Ellis is I think his camera is misbehaving again. Sometimes the camera gets angry with him and then goes off by itself, and then I'm putting it back. But I know he's listening to us. He's in the background. But yeah, I'd like to pass it back to him before we close. But I just want to thank you, fellow ministers and our audience. We intend to have this discussion ongoing, to have some of our Muslim brothers and sisters will come on to just discuss this thing. It's just a good discussion that we can look at what's happening in our nation, have constructive and positive discussion, not to discuss a personality and the rest of that, but discuss the issue. So we thank you. Maybe we might ask you to come back again to further up this discussion, especially the new debate Pastor Kokoya introduced about Islam being the new and the rest of that. Pastor Kamara said, "No way, you did it for." So that would be a good, that would be a very good discussion. And I pray that we can find time to discuss that and get a new answers about Islam and Christianity, because we coexist. That's one of you said that we coexist and we join ourselves. I have a lot of Muslim brothers and I love them and respect them. And they do the same for me, and you do this. You do too. You have Muslim brothers and sisters who respect you and respect them. So this dialogue should be ongoing. And I think our senators maybe have their own good reason for doing that. They give the reason, and that's why I decided to go back to it to make sure I highlight those reasons that they gave. We can agree or disagree, but I had to see it. They are representatives of the Liberian people. They were elected through democracy. Reverend Kura already gone because I want to ask a question about democracy, fair, free and fair, the rest of that. But we have to conclude now. Pastor Ellis, are you in the background?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you, but we can take that.
Okay, good. Well, we'd like to thank all of you for coming. We'll continue this discussion again, but we're out of time. And we all know that it is all love and patriotism that we are showing for our country and also its people. And we want to coexist in every way, in a peaceful way. But when these things come up, we have to talk about them. We have to voice out. We have to make our voice heard, because they are all in the interest of our faith and our culture, and for the young generation, because the young generation, the young people, they look at the older folks, what they do, and they can imitate that. And so it is good that we're talking about this, and hopefully those who are listening will make their comments and see the reason why we need a country to be united and everywhere reconciled after many years of war. We are now moving forward, but we don't want to open a whole new door for any kind of a religious and political tension to occur. And that's why we are talking about these things. But if you have your senator from your district who is also a recipient of this bill, looking to see if he or she can okay, there you go. My camera's back. If you have a senator who is from your district and they have handled this proposed bill, express yourself. Let them know what you think as a citizen, because you voted them in the office. And if they're not focusing on the development you need within your county or in your community, you can also voice that out too. And if you feel that this whole proposal or bill is misdirected, let them know, because we the people, or you are the power, and you place them there, as Reverend Kura said. So we'd like to say thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Everett George, Pastor Asumana Kamara, Reverend Toli H.T. Kura, Reverend Augusta Kokoya, and Reverend James Deka. Deka, you didn't talk nothing about your school. Do you teach the Bible in your school? I know you have schools in Liberia, and you are going there pretty soon to establish another one.
Yeah.
Already concluded, you asked Deka for school. That's another 1 hour discussion.
Yeah, I can do that. As a matter of fact, I'm on my way.
He knows Deka, so you know what?
I'm working on opening of theological seminary on the campus.
That's
and
great.
I'm gonna put all the work into place. I'm working on the second school in Mount Barkley. Hopefully next school year or so, we're going to be beginning another school in Mount Barkley. Everything is going great, and I appreciate all the support from friends that I have received over the years, all the time, especially my own brother and friend, Reverend Dede. Reverend Dede have been very supportive. I want to say thank you again in a public manner. And we
give me your secret. Then you can't publicize the whole thing again.
Yeah, I have to acknowledge your effort, man. I acknowledge to help. I appreciate that. And it's called New Life Christian Academy School of Excellence. It's one of the best schools on Rafferty Highway.
All right.
Yes. I want to welcome. I know if you have children that you want to send to the school, please send them over here. Or if you need to sponsor some less fortunate students, we'll be more than glad to introduce them to you, and you can sponsor them.
All right. Thank
That's
you.
great. That's great, man.
So Alice, on that, I forgot. We want to open this thing to anybody who want to contact us to come to discuss the thing. Like I said, I want to emphasize our Muslim brothers and sisters who have their take on this, whether pro or con. Contact Alice or Pastor Dede. We'll have you come so that we can discuss it. We're trying to reach the 3 senators, and we can reach them. It would be fine to come on this program and go into the proposed legislation and to see how we can get from their own selves why they are proposing this. So please, this is the invitation. So Ellis, I just want to add that before we conclude.
Indeed, invitation.
Yeah,
And this is how we'll leave you today. A blessed weekend to all of you. Monday is Memorial Day. Hope we all enjoyed a long weekend. No work on Monday. Have a long rest in bed and take care of our families. Well, I'd like to say thank you once again. Have a great weekend to all of you.
Thank you. Okay, bye, gentlemen. Thank you so much. God bless.